All right, so this is my sub-plans. So right now this is our warm-up. Leave this on. So this is what you're going to do for periods 1, 2, 3, 4, and 7. And you're just going to follow and do everything as I'll tell you to pause and play. So right now have it on pause. This is what they're going to work on for like the first 5 to 10 minutes of class. Press play after they've had it time to work on it. All right, so we're looking at how you got from figure 1 to figure 2. Figure 1 is here. We're trying to get to here. It's not the other way around. So on the checkup, some of you went from 2 to 1 instead of from 1 to 2. So that was one of our mistakes. Second thing is I want to look at the points. So if I'm going to count from this point to see where it went to this point, I have to make sure the points line up. This is the top left point of 1. So I need to compare that with the top left point of 2. I'm not trying to get from this point to this point. I'm trying to get from here to here. So I will have to go up 1, 2, 3, 4. So I could say I go up 4. Then I would go left now, and I'm going to go left 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Some of you were just going from here to this point, but they are not the same point. This point goes with that point. Make sure you line up the exact points. So this one would be up 4, left 6. And if you were going to do this as like a rule, left is with 6, so it would be x minus 6. Up is with y, and that's a positive, so y plus 4. So some of you also gave me answers like that, which is fine. All right, so now we're going to do rotations. So while I'm getting this set up, all of you get out graph paper. So if you want to, you can pause this, you can leave this running, whatever. I'm getting this set up right now. You can fast forward. All right, where are you? All right, applications. All right, so here we go. Oop, wow, too much zoom. All right, so at the top, let's write rotations. So you're all working with me. Rotations. Then we're going to make a pretty big graph like we did before. Now we're going to draw points. I'm going to zoom in for this so that way you can see the same thing as me. There we go. All right. So from the origin, let's go right 2, up 1. Let's call that A. So 2, 1. From the origin, let's go right 1, 2, 3, 4, and up 1, 2, 3. 4, 3 is B. From the origin, let's go right 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and let's go up 2. And let's connect them. So here's our original figure. Here's our original figure. So if you need to pause to make sure everyone has this, that's fine. Otherwise, you can keep going. The first thing that we're going to do, and I'm going to write this now, and I'll zoom out. I'm going to write this down here, so maybe you want to do a key again. This is my original. In a new color now, we're going to rotate 90 degrees counterclockwise. If you're having trouble with counterclockwise, think of an actual clock. All right, so here's 12, 3, 6, 9. A clock normally goes this way, so we're going counterclockwise. So that means we want to go this way. We're going to go 90 degrees, which is one turn. So to do one turn, that means we're going to go from here to here, 90 degrees. So we're going to move this. So to do this, what we do, we want to make it in this box. So to make it in this box, I need to turn my paper somehow so that looks like the top of the graph now. So this is normally the top, right? This is how it really was, and we wrote in that normal spot. This was quadrant 1. I now want to turn my paper somehow so that way this looks like quadrant 1. So if I turn it this way, this is not quadrant 1, it's now quadrant 3. Now it's quadrant 4. This is the one I want, right? I put my arrow to it. Oh, that makes this where I want it. This is quadrant 1. So this is where I'm going to start. So I'm going back to the beginning. A was 2, 1. If I turn it this way, so that way the word rotations is now to my right, I'm going to make the point A by doing the same thing. Go 2, 1, A. Turn it back to where it was. B is 4, 3. Turn it back over. I'm going to do 4, 3 again. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. That's my new B. C was 5, 2. So when I turn it, I'm still going to do 5, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2. C. And now I'm going to make these primes. So that is what this picture should look like now. Now let's look at it the original way. A rotation then, if I rotate 90 degrees, and maybe we want to write up here that it was counterclockwise, is taking it and actually rotating. I'm taking it, it's not just a movement and staying the same, it's actually turning. A rotation is like a turn. So they're different now. So now we can get, let me get a marker really fast. Now we're going to rotate 180 degrees counterclockwise. So we just did 90, now we're going to do 180. So if I look up here, that would be 90 into one box. 180 is going to bring us into this box now. So as I did before, you see how this is the top and we were writing in here in the first quadrant. I want to now make where I'm ending up my first quadrant. So if I turn before, that's my first quadrant, and that's not what I want. I want this to be my first quadrant. So let's turn it upside down. Now I see that where I want to end up is my first quadrant, so this is the correct turn. I'm going to do the same thing. To get to A, we moved over 2, and so right 2, up 1, right? 2, 1. So I'm just going to do that now upside down. Right 2, up 1, A. B was right 4, up 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. B. C was right 5, up 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2. C, and let's call these all double prime. Let's connect these. So it should look like that. We're going to flip it back now. So here's my original. When I rotate it 90, it goes once, and it turns. When I rotate it 180, it goes 2 boxes over, and it turns again. It's taking this to here, and this to there. Every time it's turning, if I pick that up a piece of paper. So if you can kind of see, if I put them all at the same point, it's kind of like a windmill, like how a windmill turns. You see how it's rotating? A windmill rotates in a circle. So this is kind of like a windmill, just in different spots now. So our last thing that we're going to do is we're going to rotate 270 degrees. So down here.
Mason, stipend to the office, please. Mason, stipend to the office.
Rotate 270 degrees counterclockwise. So 270 is now going to give us there. So we can see where all of them are taking us. 90 degrees went here, and that's with my blue. 180 degrees, so maybe that was with my pen, so maybe I'll mark these as well. So with these colors, this would be 180 degrees counterclockwise, and then this would be my 270 degrees counterclockwise. So that way we can see it all on there. So same thing, I want now this spot where I'm pointing it to be my quadrant 1. That's not it. That's not it. Now I've turned it to the point where I need it. So we're doing the same thing. A was 2, 1. It's still going to be 2, 1. Just pretend this is now my new graph. Over 2, up 1, A. B was over 4, up 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. B. C is 5, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2. C. So now, this is our original picture with all 3 rotations. Now let's just look at one coordinate point, 1. So let's just focus on A. You don't have to box this. I'm boxing it for this purposes, just so you know. You don't have to box it. A is 2, 1. Let's look at what A prime's coordinate point is now, and we're leaving it just how it is here. So A prime. What is that coordinate point if I look? So we should all get that it's -1, 2. So what happens when I rotate 90 degrees to my value? So if I had x, y, what changed from here to here? Talk to a partner. Press pause, play when you're ready. So if we look, it was 2, 1, now it's 1, 2, just for numbers. So it was x, y, now it's y, x, we switch them. All right, and then it depends on where you end up, what quadrant for if you're positive or negative. Depends on what quadrant you end up if you're positive or negative. So for this one, we could say that y is now negative. So, but that depends on the quadrant you end up in. If we see that now that's negative. So now let's look at this original A with this A point. So it's always from our original A. So if we look at A double prime, what is that coordinate point right there? We should get -2, -1. So if we look at this point to this point, so if we rotate, and I don't care what colors you do this in, 180 degrees, we have x, y. I see that I still have it's 2, 1. It's still 2, 1. But now they're both negative. So if they were both negative to begin with, they would both be positive. Does that make sense? Well, and I'll do this again with you on block day. And so last thing now is we're going to compare this A point to A triple prime now. What's A triple prime's coordinate point? So if we look, that is a 1 and a -2. How does that compare to this? So if I rotate 270 degrees, I have x, y. Again, they switch, so now it should be yx. But now my x, so now that point is negative. All right, so this is just how to do it. Right, this was just how to do it, and we're going to practice this a lot more on block day, so if you're a little confused now, that's okay. So we did, this is counterclockwise. On block day, we'll practice one more counterclockwise as the warm-up, and then we'll do clockwise. So now we're going to take some notes. So this is in our regular, this is no longer graph paper. So take out your regular notes. And let me get set up so you can pause, fast forward, whatever when you're ready. All right, so here we go. So for a rotation, it's a transformation that turns the figure around a point. So for us, for our case, we're always going to rotate about the origin, the middle of the graph. So everyone should be writing this down. Press pause and then press play when everyone's done writing it down so I can explain it. So for every 90 degrees rotation, the coordinates flip. XY becomes YX. So every time there's a 90-degree turn, if you rotate 90 degrees, if whatever you had, so if I had, let me write it down. So if I had the coordinate point 2, 7, and I rotate 90 degrees, it's going to then become 7, 2. I just then need to decide where the negative goes. So you have to look in what quadrant, all right? So if I end up in this quadrant, when I rotate it, if I ended up going there, then my X value is still positive, right? But my Y value is negative, so that would be like that. So it just depends on where your quadrant is. So that's why you're seeing either the Y is negative or the X negative. But for any 90 degree, this is what happens. For a 180 degree rotation, it still stays XY. Both, and like, so if they're both positive, they become both negative. If they're both negative, they become both positive. Or if it was like this, -2, 7, the negative would become a positive and this positive would become a negative. They both change. So the sign value changes, but the numbers in the order, it's still XY. So it all just kind of depends on where you go. This rule up here is also for 270 degrees. We just say 90 because a 90 degrees rotation counterclockwise is the same thing as a 270 degree clockwise. Or if you see this is counter going this way, 270 degrees counterclockwise would give me here, right? Counterclockwise, which is the same thing as a 90 degree clockwise.
Ms. Lala to the office.
So
please.
we
Ms.
just have
Lala
this
to the
rule up
office.
here just for 90, but you could also write for every 90 degree or 270 degree rotation. They're the same thing. So if there is still time left, which I doubt, if there's still time left, hold on. Let's have them practice one. Hold on. Actually, no, yeah. Hold on, let me get that up. So you can just pause this until I get it to the place that we need to go, or fast forward. So this is a 90 degree rotation counterclockwise, right? So what I want you to practice then with these points is doing from this original one, so count this as the original, try a 180 degree rotation counterclockwise. So you should get something that ends up in this. So pause that, let them work on that real fast. All right, so this should be the image that you get once you turn your paper. So if I were to turn my paper to do this, this should be the new top. No, that's a lie. This should be the new top, upside down. So then this original picture was 2, 2, so when I did it, it would be 2, 2. So that would be my 180 degree rotation. All right, so now period 8. Period 8. So I'll just make a slide for this right now real fast. Period 8, this is what you're going to do. Remember, for period 8, you have a test on block day. So period 8, let me find out where I put my notes for what you're doing. When they come in, let them know that they are doing, you can just put this on the board. like have this just pause on the screen. Focus problems. Page 75. Number 8. F. After you do these, a line of best fit. All right, so you're doing these. You're doing 8A, B, and F. When you're done those, you're going to create a line of best fit. This is like what we were doing on all the warm-ups. Draw your line. What are the 2 points that it goes through? Use those 2 points to find your slope. Use that slope to make the equation with the points. And then interpret it like so. The slope is 2/5. So for every 2 minutes you drive, you go whatever it means. I don't know. And then what does the y-intercept means after you find it? So when x is 0, when nothing's passed, the temperature is still this much or whatever. When you're done that, oh, I spelled place wrong. When you're done that, back where the green, like where you get the algebra books on, like I think it's 2 or 3 shelves above that. I think just 2. On the left side, there should be a green book. Make sure you read the front of it. It should say samples and population. I have one right here to show you. Samples and populations. You're going to get that. You're going to do problems 63 and 64. You can listen to music while you're doing this. I will be checking this on block day to make sure you did it to give you credit for this.